So, 5 reasons why giving your sales team coaching on their sales recording will put your results on steroids.
Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 199. And today we're going to be talking about 5 reasons why giving your sales team coaching on their call recordings will put their results on steroids. But before we go there, I have got a particular resource for you that I think is going to be particularly useful. It is at johnblakeaudio.com. And what you're going to find there is a 15-minute audio that you can download that walks you through my entire strategy for what happens after you speak to somebody, you present some sort of an offer to them, and they don't convert. So there's often a massive list of this in almost every business that I have ever worked with. And this particular resource will give you exactly what to do. So exactly what to write in your emails. You'll get my word for word scripts on exactly what to write in your emails, exactly what to say when you call on the phone, and just as importantly, if not more importantly, exactly when to call and when to email over a 90-day period. So you can get that at johnblakeaudio.com. Go grab it, put it into practice, and let me know how you go with it. Okay, so 5 reasons why giving your sales team coaching on their sales recording will put your results on steroids. Now, I have been sales coaching for nearly 20 years. I have, before that, was a sales manager for about 8 years, and I have been coaching salespeople for a long time. And when we were able to start listening to salespeople's calls, everything changed, right? Because before that, you would work with a team, and you would give them, different things that they could say and different frameworks that they could use to sell to clients. And so we would deliver the training, and then we would say, okay, so, in 2 weeks' time when they come back, how did it go? And a lot of them would say, oh, yeah, I was doing it. I've been doing it differently. I've been doing what it is that you suggested. And what's interesting is that a lot of salespeople will think that they're doing things differently, but often they revert back to what they were doing before. So I'm going to give you five reasons why. So the first one is you get to not only correct dialogue, but you also get to listen for energy and tonality, right? So if you have the wrong energy at certain times in your call, that can make a big difference to the result. So 2 different salespeople can have the exact same script. One gets a different result to the other. They're actually both using the same script. What made the difference? Well, in most cases, it's intention and it's tonality. So that's reason 1. You not only get to correct dialogue, you can listen for energy and tonality. And you need to have different energy and different tonality at different parts of the actual sales process. Number 2, you will actually hear and notice things that will not the actual salesperson will hear and notice things that they have absolutely no conscious awareness of. So one of the most powerful things that you can do when I'm coaching somebody and we're listening to a recording of one of their calls is to listen to a particular piece of the call, and I'll say, what can you hear going on here? Tell me what's going on here. And often they have absolutely no awareness of what's being said, how they're responding to it, how they're drilling down on what's being volunteered in terms of information. So in as much as the coaching process for listening to somebody listening to themselves is confronting, because it is actually a very confronting thing, the learning curve is exponential. Like, they will pick up so much through actually listening to themselves on a call. And it is the most powerful way to coach the salespeople. I mean, if you've got them on video, that's even better. If it's a Zoom call recording, that's even better. That puts the whole thing on steroids. So if you've got a sales team, you want them to get better, record their calls if they're making telephone calls, record their Zoom calls if they're making Zoom calls. Number 3, it is the most confronting. I actually already said that, but it's the fastest way to improve results. So I kind of made that point in point 2, but it's worth repeating. It is the most confronting way, but it is the fastest way to improve results. And like the one that comes to mind, a guy that I've been coaching for around about sort of 12 to 18 months, he's got a 58% increase in his sales, and he attributes it 100% to the work that we've been doing. So we changed their process. We then gave them coaching on the implementation of that particular process. Point number 4, you will have access to 4 times the data than what you would if you were asking for them to tell you what they are doing. And they genuinely believe that they're already doing the right thing. But again, having the awareness of actually listening to it, there's nowhere to hide. And I'm not saying that in a mean sociopathic way. I'm just saying, like, there's literally nowhere to hide. It's like, okay, so what you're doing there sounds very different to what it is that we talked about. Can can you tell me what you can hear? And suddenly it's like, wow, there really is a disconnect between what I'm doing. And then the other thing is that with that, you can then capture best practice, right? So if you hear somebody who's just doing it brilliantly, you can play that to other salespeople and you can benchmark that and say, look, this is what a great call sounds like. And in as much as each person needs to bring their own personality to it, you can listen to best practice, and that's another really fast way for somebody to learn what is expected of them. And the 5th one is that you can compare old to new. So in addition to being able to, over time, you can listen to a whole bunch of calls. You can pick out the really good ones that you can use from a training perspective. So you could play a particular great example of a sales call as a training exercise. And what you could also do is help the person that you're working with say, okay, well, this is what you sounded like when we first started working together. And this is what you sound like now. What can you hear that's different? And that's a really powerful learning curve as well, because they get to often hear what they were doing before, and then they can hear what they're doing right now. And again, in as much as it's confronting, it is the fastest learning curve. And I have to say, my ability to be able to coach absolutely went through the roof on the day that we were able to start recording calls. So there's a couple of different ways you can do that. I mean, if certain CRMs will have the ability to be able to call, to be able to record calls. So there are certain CRMs out there that allow that particular facility. There are also apps on mobile phones that allow you to be able to record calls. But in the absence of that, what you can often do is just press record on a computer and put the person on speakerphone, and you can actually record a call like that. Now, I'm not going to comment on the legalities of recording calls or any of that sort of stuff, because I am not I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to give out any advice on that, only to say that it is a super powerful thing, and it can make a massive difference to your team's results when you start doing it. So thanks once more for listening to this episode. I actually recorded this episode, episode 199, and we recorded it without any audio. So I'm recording it for the second time. So thanks so much for listening. As always, very much appreciate you tuning in, and I will talk to you on the next episode, which is episode 200. The other thing that I was going to make you aware of is, at the moment, and by the time this episode goes to air, we will already be partway through it. But I have just released a 10-week certification program, Sales Mastery Certification. I've got a small group going through that particular training. But the idea is that you can jump on even if we've started, you can jump on at any point. So if you're interested in that, my suggestion is that you email me. It is john at john-blake.com.au, and we can start that dialogue. I can send you the details and see if this would be right for you. As I said, it's a 10-week training and coaching program where I certify you. So you build your program, you build your specific sales process over that 10 weeks. And then at the end, I work with you one-on-one to really dial it in so that it's going to work for you and it's going to continue to work for you. And if you're a business owner, you can teach it to other people as your team grows. So excited about releasing that. As I said, if you want to find out more, simply email me, John, John at john-blake.com.au. If you can't remember that, if you're listening to this in the car, just go to just Google search John Blake Sales. I will come up and just fill in a contact form and I will get back to you. As always, thank you so much for listening again, and I will talk to you on the next podcast. Cheers.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies and maximize your sales process with new episodes every other week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive, free, no fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.